I'm Megan. Thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel. The next few videos will be somatic movements focusing on shoulders and neck, which is a problematic area for many people. And I will try to keep them shorter and also give you some things that you can do at work in a chair or whatever your workspace is if you're seated. So having said that, I'm sitting on the floor because I'm comfortable on the floor. However, most people are not for any length of time, so I encourage you to grab a chair. And the first thing we do in order to work with our neck, which is 7 vertebrae of the whole spine, is we want to address the rest of the spine. So wherever you're choosing to be seated, feel your sits bones, those things you're sitting on, and just gently rock side to side. So it might feel like you're putting weight into one butt cheek and then the other. So I'm doing a little side to side. We want to ground. So this is about what we call body mapping. The body wants to know, the brain wants to know where we are in space. So you're just feeling where your weight is resting at the bottom of your spine. And then I'm staying sideways so you can see we're just going to address our pelvis. So with the pelvis, if you want to do it to your breath, you can take a breath in and just think of the pelvis gently tilting forward. We call that anterior tilt. And as you breathe out, we go into a posterior tilt, which the pelvis will go back a little ways. So if we want to do the whole spine in this movement, it'd be like inhaling, our chest opens, and we get what I call duck butt. My tail lifts a little bit. And on the exhale, I'm rounding. Like if we were a dog and just got into trouble, our tail comes forward, and we're tucking our tail. So I'm just finding my pelvis and the rest of my spine moving before addressing neck and shoulders. And then somewhere in between that duck butt where I'm shortening my backside, particularly my low back, and pulling my shoulders back. And in that dog tail, where my front side is closed off, there's a happy medium. So that's where you want to settle. So see if you can find that and then rock again on your sits bones. So again, if you've been doing this on the floor and you're just not getting any mobility and it's just not comfortable for you, go into a chair, or you can be like me and sit on something on the ground. So we're going to start with those simple neck stretches now that we've found ourselves. Our head is aligned over the pelvis and the shoulders are over the hips. That's the body mapping. Close your eyes and feel that. Oftentimes we have our head just slightly forward, so take your hand to your chin and gently take your chin back, or what I think of as taking your skull back. And we learn the difference in body mapping. Moving from our jaw or our chin is different than moving from our skull or our nose. So take your nose back just slightly. We generally tend to have a head forward position even when we don't know it. And now we'll start with the right side of the neck. Maybe that's your bugger side. You can either just keep your hands on your lap or drop your right arm down. Take a nice breath in. As you're breathing in, just let the left ear drop towards the left shoulder. And as you're breathing out, lift back up. So I do this to my breath because I like to think of my breath as creating space on the inhalation, about levity and freedom. And as I breathe in, I'm imagining sending that breath into the right side of my neck, the top of the shoulder. As I breathe out, I just let the head float back to its center position where it naturally wants to go. So breathing in and going over, and breathing out and coming back. Continue with the movement, and I'm just going to show you from the side. What often happens is we think that we're going side, a lateral bend, but what we're actually doing is rotating the head or dropping it forward. So keep that alignment, drop that plumb line down through the crown of the head, and simply tilt without twisting. There's no twist going on, just the lateral bend of the neck. Take a few more. And if you want to just slightly press into the right fingers, draw that right shoulder down, you can do that. So remember, less is more. Then we're going to stop and we're going to pause in the position that feels best. And when we're in that position, feel that right side of your neck, top of the shoulder, breathe into it. Just begin to gently open and close your jaw. So this is a nice one too. You can get into your jawbone if you have any issues with TMJ. Opening and closing, feel that right jaw, and then you might gently nod your head no, just tiny little movements. And I may have my hand on my lap or gently pressing the fingers down. And then also nod your head yes. Just slightly coming forward. Notice as your chin comes forward, but I'm actually not going to drop my whole head forward. I'm going to tuck my chin towards my chest, or think of moving from your skull and then lifting back up. So I'm still keeping the ear over the shoulder, but I'm doing this little yes nod. So you want to find your sweet spot in the side of the neck. And then we'll pause for a moment wherever you find that sweet spot. If you want to go a little bit deeper and it feels okay, you can take your left hand, wrap it around, but I'm not going to push my ear down. I'm going to push my head slightly into my hand, create resistance with the two parts of my body. And then imagine lengthening the right ear out towards the left shoulder. So not downward, but outward. And only if that feels good. Deep, full breaths into the right side of the neck. You might change your position a little bit. So as the chin comes forward, you'll feel it in the back of the neck more, and that's your upper trapezius muscle. That one can get a little stinky sometimes, and you can highlight that area right in the center of the right side of the back of the neck. That was a lot, right? Center, right back, wherever you're feeling it. And then we're going to do a more specific stretch for the front of the right side of the neck. So drop your left hand down if it's up. Let your left arm relax. Take your right hand and gently place it right on your chest. And imagine dragging your chest tissue down and across to your right knee, so a little diagonal. And then begin to slowly lift your chin up and back, or think of lifting your nose up and your skull. And you'll feel this bigger stretch through the front of the neck here. That's going into your SEM, sternocleidomastoid muscle, and your scalenes, which can also be stinkers. And you'll see I like to take my left hand and just give them a little massage. You might open and close your jaw again. So there's the resistance being created with the right hand gently pulling the tissue down and creating that long space through the front right of the neck. Maybe massaging. Keep your eyes relaxed. You can keep eyes open or closed. And release all hands. Slowly float your head back to the center. If you can find it now. You might feel like you're still falling to one side. And this is that magic moment, that body mapping moment. So if you close your eyes now, do you feel a difference in the two sides of your neck? And does one feel longer or bigger, heavier or lighter? So if you were to grace me with a picture of your neck, I probably wouldn't see any difference in the two sides. However, the feeling sensation, the felt sense that you're experiencing, that's the body mapping, is telling you that the right side is different than the left. So that's how we feel, how we sense ourselves from the inside out. So let's go ahead and do the second side. You can either just keep your left hand on your lap or drop your hand down. Check again that we haven't gone into that rounded posture, so tall through your spine. And now as you breathe in, just gently bring the right ear towards the right shoulder, or think of lengthening the left side of the neck. And as you breathe out, float the head back to the center. Small, soft movements with awareness. We're not turning the head. That often happens, so check to see it's just a side bend. And floating back. Do a few in movement first. You want to find that end range of motion without forcing it. Notice how the right side of the neck now has to shorten in order for the left side to feel that tension, that stretching. And find that happy place where you want to hang out. You might try again to open and close the jaw. I can do that, but then it's hard to talk to you. Feels good though. You can gently nod your head no. Just see what comes up, where you feel that, moving very slow. And notice where you're moving from again. Are you moving from your chin? Try nodding your head from your nose or your skull. Does that feel different? That's all part of the body mapping. And then you can also nod yes, bringing the chin down or nose down and then nose up. And just keep letting that left shoulder be heavy. If it's tightening, place your right hand there just for a moment and just not pushing it down, but just like give yourself, when somebody puts their hand on your shoulder, right? It's a way of saying, it's okay, like I've got your back, right? Relax. We can do that for ourselves. Just put your hand on your shoulder. And then we're going to pause again and find your sweet spot. So bringing the chin forward more will take you into that upper trapezius muscle in the back of the neck. That can cause headaches, so if you want to be in that one. Or you can lift up a little bit, and if you want to add the right hand wrapping around, we push the left side of the head gently into the hand. My fingers are just above my ear. And then with that resistance through the left side, I'm going to draw my left ear out towards my right shoulder. Just create space without strain. And just checking in with your breath. Are you breathing easily? No restrain in your breath. You can explore different places just by bringing the chin slightly forward or back. I tend to get a knot in my upper left shoulder, so sometimes I can get right on it by bringing my chin forward. But feel it even through your ear. Relax your ear, that jawbone. And then we'll go into the front of the neck more specifically. So relax your right hand down. If it's wrapped, take your left hand, place it on your chest, and imagine dragging your chest tissue down into the left, so towards your left knee. Once you get that little bit of a grip, lift your nose up towards the sky. You can think chin, but lift your whole skull until you feel the front of the throat opening up a little bit, front left side. You can open and close your jaw there once again. You might even roll your eyes around, do little nods. So you can play within this position, very small movements for the neck. If you tend to feel too much tightness still in your shoulder, just let that left elbow drop. Once you've done your dragging, let the elbow drop, let the arm fall to the side. And you might take your right hand in. Even if you don't want to massage them, find those muscles in the front of your neck. Say hello, acknowledge them. Front and the sides coming right underneath the ear there. You can follow it up. Keeping the throat soft. And then drop both hands down. Notice how heavy your head is, this time to the right. And begin to gradually lift it back to the center. Take a few breaths in and out, both sides of the neck. Beautiful. So we're going to do one more. We'll do one more seated neck stretch, and this will come a little bit more into the... Now that we're on our way into the sides of the neck, we're going to go more into the front and the back with one more seated movement. Rearrange yourself if you need to. And this one starts with taking your hands up, and I'm going to give you a couple different arm options. The first one would be to just take the right arm in front of the left and take your hands to your shoulders, so my arms are crossed. If you can comfortably get the right elbow underneath the left and either the backs of the hands or palms together, so in yoga we call this Garudasana or eagle arms, you can cross like this. If it's creating too much tension, too much pulling in your upper shoulders, then just cross with the hands at the shoulders. And then we're going to move to our breath again. As you breathe in, think of lifting your nose up towards the sky and bring your elbows with. So if you had a string from your nose to your elbows, bring your elbows with. And as you breathe out, let the elbows drop. And as the elbows drop, the nose follows. There's that string. And gently bring your chin down. Or the way I like to think of it is nose. And inhale up. And exhale down. So that's a simple movement. You might be doing it with arms crossed to your right arm underneath. I'm going to show it from the side as well. This is another one where we tend to do a head forward. And instead of the head coming forward, tuck the chin. So this is head forward. This is tuck chin. We want to lengthen the back of the neck without that 12-pound weight coming forward, putting the extra strain on the neck. So lifting up and then tucking. And just a few more of those. Wherever you feel the space, breathe into that, or if you feel tightness. And then keeping that arm position, I'm going to turn towards you, so you might just have your hands to your shoulders or the full eagle arms. We're going to do a little tick-tock, so my hands will be in front of my face, but I'm going to lift up here. And now as I exhale, I'm going to drop my arms to the right and my left ear to my left shoulder, so my head to the left. Come back to center as you breathe in, and then let the arms fall to the left and head fall to the right. So think of a clock ticking, but it's going in opposite directions. So you may be here, and if you're doing it with your hands at your shoulders, tilt your shoulders to the right, left ear to left shoulder, back to center as you breathe in, tilting. And just this little side to side. So this one gets the sides of the neck again. The first version was getting front to back. And we can't work with the neck without giving the shoulders the attention that they need. So you're here, or the full version here. One or two more. And then drop your hands down. And we just go give your shoulders a few rolls. Check in on your pelvis, that you're still in a good pelvic tilt, not too far forward, not too far back. Stacking your ears over your hips and your shoulders over your waist as well. And then we'll do that same one on the second side. So your left arm will come underneath, and maybe you just reach to the shoulders. That might be your way to go. Or you can wrap the arms, backs of the hands or palms together like an eagle arm position. Either way, as you breathe in, lift up the nose. Think of moving from your skull and lift the shoulders and the elbows. As you breathe out, bring the arms down and tuck the chin or bring your nose down towards your heart. So not so much of forward movement, but lengthening the back of the neck. Taking a few nice and easy. And if you find it's too much pulling, again, on the shoulder blades or the arms, to have the arms crossed, you just get the hands on the outer arm bones, like you're giving yourself a hug. Just notice the interplay between the shoulders and the neck. Front to back, the top of the inhale, your throat is open and spacious. The bottom of the exhale, the back of the neck is long and comfortable. Opening the upper back, the back door of the heart as I call it. And then we're going to switch and do that sideways movement. So maybe you're hugging here, and if that's the case, you can exhale and bring the shoulders to the left and the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale back to center, float your head right over the center of your pelvis. Exhale, opposite way, tilt the shoulders to the right, left ear to left shoulder, so you feel that shortening through the left side, lengthening through the right. And going back and forth, maybe the hands are this way. Again, checking you're not rotating the neck, but more of a true side bend. Keep the jaw relaxed and the eyes soft in the skull. These little reminders to yourself because you're worth it. Absolutely. And release that. Take your arms down. We'll end with just some really easy shoulder rolls. Start rolling them together. Take them all the way around in circles. And then let your head join however it wants. So maybe as the shoulders come down, the nose bows forward. And then you lift your head up and your shoulders go back. Thank you for joining me for this practice for your neck and ultimately your shoulders that you can do seated in a chair or the ground. Appreciate it. And stay tuned, there will be more, and please leave me comments. Is neck and shoulders one of your grumpy areas? Was this helpful? And a special thanks to my Patreons. If you want to join me on Patreon to support my content, I appreciate it. Peace, joy, love, and light.